There they are. It's okay. So you ready?
Sorta.
We're going to be using the Mountain Air bundle today. That's the Mountain Air stamp set for big glare, and I tried to get rid of the glare with this cloth. This is a cloth background, trying to get rid of glare. It's not doing so good. Well, this is plastic, so it's not. Yeah.
Find you.
Okay, so we're going to be making this card number 1. I call it Mountain Air Oval card kit. I'm going to have to check your card kits. Did yours come in the mail, Carolee?
No, not yet.
Not yet? Okay, it was sent. I have a feeling I forgot a piece, but we shall see. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is stamp this oval. And that's from the Layering Ovals dies that I cut them. You can cut them out of whatever oval punch you may have. You'll need 2 of them. One that's a little bit bigger than this and one that's the same size as this. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to stamp the mountains. And we're going to do that with, well, we're going to do that with, oh, we're going to cut and fold the card base first and stamp it with wishing you your best year yet. However, let's see. So here we go. I don't, maybe you won't be missing it because it looks like I packed this. There's your card base, your early espresso. And
I have a suggestion, Robin, if you would just kind of show us what's in each of the packets that we're getting, and what's in there.
Okay, well, it's on the list you get your kit.
All right.
But you're going to have your Mountain Air bundle or the Mountain Air stamp set and the Mountain Air dies or Majestic Mountain Dies. I used the wood paper I used was some leftover from the small 6x6 packages, but In Good Taste Designer Series paper number 152494 has a lot of wood grain paper in it that can be used. There's some more. There's also tile. It doesn't matter really what you put in the background, but there's some more wood. There's a little bit lighter wood. So, and that one has, it's got 24 sheets of paper in it, and they're double-sided. So, as opposed to just your 12 sheets double-sided. All right. So here's your piece of wood. And then you have a piece of gold foil paper, which I cut the oval out of the center of. All right. And you're going to need linen thread, gold embossing powder, a heat tool. You'll get a button and you'll get some linen thread. And I also used the triple banner punch just to cut a flag tail in the end of the thing, but you can use scissors as well. You could use some dimensionals This is very vanilla cardstock, early espresso. And then for inks, I used Memento Black, Old Olive, Garden Green, Crumb Cake, Balmy Blue, and Versamark. Okay, so that's your materials. So the first thing is to stamp the inside sentiment. Glad you're back, Ellen. I'm not going to try not to jinx it.
I'm not moving the phone at all. I'm not moving my body at all.
Don't breathe either.
All right.
No.
So on the inside, I use just a Memento Black ink, and I made this a birthday card, so it is going to be stamped with "Wishing you your best year yet" on the inside. Okay, that gets mounted on the inside of your cardstock. Over here. So we had a new boiler and a new water heater put in yesterday and the day before. Well,
Yike.
today, this morning and yesterday, not yesterday and the day before. They finished this morning very early, luckily, because holy cow, they were making noise yesterday. That would have interrupted our Zoom quite a bit. Then we're going to take the, now what did I do with my stuff? Oh, here it is. We're going to take the piece of paper and we're going to stamp in black a couple trees.
That's on there too.
All right, I used the black Memento Black ink. I used the double tree stamp from the stamp set. And I got it inked up pretty good here. And we're going to stamp down here. One. And then another one. I did one double and one, oops, one single. Okay. I did one double and one single down there, and then I did the same thing in the upper left-hand corner. So you're going to have a double and a single. All right, I'm going to make sure that's nice and dry. We're going to use our embossing buddy. Ink up and go over the whole thing. Okay. And then we're going to clean off our stamps that we just used. So yeah, they started up the boiler this morning. At least it works. All right, then we're going to take the Versamark. And we're going to just basically, maybe a 16th or even just a 32nd of an inch to the left of what we already stamped. You're going to stamp this with Versamark.
Mm-hmm. You're just going to barely have a line of black.
Yeah, it's just, the black is just for the shadow.
Uh-huh.
All right. And a lot of it isn't even seen anyway. It's kind of under the middle piece. So then we'll do the same thing up on the top. There we go. And we'll close. What did I do with the lid? Oh, there it is. Okay. And then we're going to take some gold embossing powder and sprinkle on the 14 karat, no, however many carats it is. Probably just plastic, so colored plastic. I don't know. I think they must have to put some kind of metal of some sort in there, but I don't know how they color it. So you just sprinkle it on there. And then tap off any excess. Not too bad. Looks like I missed a spot here or there. Try again. All right. Oh, I got gold embossing powder on my figures, on my workspace. Now everything will have a little glitter today.
What's life without a little glitter?
Dull. All right. Oh, I just stuck my thumb in it. Dummy. Ah, that was not a smart move, Robin. Leave it to Robin. All right. Here's a couple
Tweezers.
Yeah, that would have been good, wouldn't it? There's a couple pieces of paper in my embossing powder. All right, now we're not going to fuss with that. We're going to put that over there and I'll empty it later if it doesn't blow away. All right. Go. There she goes. All righty. So that's that piece. Then you're going to attach this piece that we just embossed. To the bow. Oh. There we go. Okay. All right, and then we're going to set that aside for a second. And we're going to work on the oval. So we're going to take the mountain stamp. Now these are double-sided stamps this time. One side of the stamps with a textured image, and the other side is just a plain, flat kind of, I don't know what you'd call it, just a solid. That's the word I was thinking. Working on there, a solid stamp, just like a silhouette. Crumb cake, there it is. I wondered why my mountains weren't brown. I thought, well, gee, maybe I just need to color them in. But I'd like them better if they are actually stamped brown. All right, let's try this again. Like about there. There we go. That's better. And then you're going to just take this little point here and you're going to ink up that, just the center, and kind of turn it upside down and do a little number like that. And that's going to be your, when we get to it, that's going to be your reflection in the water. All right, then you're going to take your, I call this a tree line stamp. Okay, take line and Old Olive. That back, Garden Green. And oops. And we are going to soak up the middle of that. Like so. Let's stamp it across there, and this is going to look like trees. All right. And then we're going to make a mask. So you're going to take your die and cut out a mountain. If you don't have the die, you can just take your mistake and cut out another one. But we're going to lay this over the mountain range here. And we're going to take some balmy blue. Let's see, is this balmy blue? What color is this? And that will do. Balmy blue, where are you? Oh, that's Scooby-Doo, where are you? We're going to take some balmy blue and rotate some in.
Making the sky.
Yep. Okay. And if you have a little bit of this white line issue, you can just kind of go over it again and bring the color a little bit closer in. All right.
I have ballet glue. I don't have balmy glue. Blue.
Use Pool Party. This is
Oh, I have
another
that.
sky color. All right, and then there's a tiny little stamp in the set, which I have yet to locate. That is
The birds.
and
The
I mean,
birds in the
it's
sky.
tiny. Can you see how tiny that is? Itty,
Oh, wow.
itsy bitsy. So you don't want to lose it.
Mm.
And where's my black? There it is. Memento black. Looking at my sample. I put it in there a couple times. Then, that's kind of funny. All right, so the next thing we want to do is take those trees again. And I'm going to put something under here because I don't want my net all screwed up. We're going to take some garden green. And you only need the single one for this one. We're going to stamp so that your tree kind of goes above the mountain there so that it looks like it's in the foreground rather than in the background. Let me see, I think there is good. Okay, and then we're going to change color to the old olive. And we're going to stamp 4 of these trees. One here. Whoop. One a little lower down here. And another one kind of up here. And then one in between these guys here. Okay. Not looking too bad. All right, and then you're going to take, you can use your blue marker, you can use sponge dauber and blue, or you can find your light. If you have Stampin' Blends, they work really nice for this because they don't, the paint doesn't, or I mean the ink doesn't smear. So you can just color in these little white spots with some blue to make it look watery.
All that's on that one stamp, on that one piece of paper.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
packed with action.
And then you can take some dark crumb cake and color this mountain in a little because maybe it's a little too detailed and doesn't exactly match the water. And you can kind of go out of the lines a little bit with your marker to make it look like it's blurry in the water. Okay. And then, what did I do with that? And then I went over the mountains with light crumb cake where it's white here to make it look brown. So then there's your image is pretty much done then. But I don't like this little white edge I have. I used a piece of cardstock for my mask. You're better off to use a piece of regular paper so that you don't get this white line. So I'm just going to color this white line in a little, make it look a little bit more heavenly up there. Okay. There we go. All righty. That completes that photo. And you can mount that then onto the, oh my goodness, where is it? Oh, that all just went on the floor, all of it. Okay, so then you just mount the oval on your gold piece, your gold oval, your picture oval on your gold oval. Looks just like a picture of the Laurentian Mountains in Canada. Alrighty, so there's our feature piece. And then we're going to take our piece of twine that's in your kit. There's twine and a button. We're going to go around, looks like I went around 4 times. Once, twice, 3 times a lady. No, well, we're going 4. Kenny Rogers song, in case you missed it.
Yeah, we know
Start
that one.
here. Now start down a little lower. Fit in the sticky. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times,
I
And
think Lionel Richie was the original one on that. I'm not sure.
I just love Kenny
It
Rogers.
sounds like one of his songs with really goofy lyrics, like Ballerina Girl.
I had Kenny Rogers Lady played at my wedding.
When I was in high school, he came to Normandy before he was anybody. He was Kenny Rogers in the first edition, and he had a concert there. I think
Yes,
it was
he went all the way
free.
to the 5th edition before he became.
He had a very nice voice, and he was an attractive man, and then he got all that plastic surgery, and he really messed himself up.
Yeah, he did.
Got carried away.
Didn't he pass away this year?
It's been
I
was it
think
just
he
this
did.
last year?
I don't know if he's still.
Maybe last year.
I think he passed away. All right, so now I'm going to try to tie this button into this knot. I went around a couple times here. I'm tying a knot first. Got to remember your Girl Scout knots. Square knot is left over right and right over left.
Twine is not my favorite thing.
Well, just wrap it around it and stick the button on there with glue. You don't have to try to thread the button. I just thought the button looked cool with this. You can actually just take a piece of this and put it through here and tie a knot, and then glue the knotted button on in place, and it'll look just like you tied a knot in the string too. So just wrap your string around, put your button through your leftover string, put it through the button and tie a knot, and then glue your button onto the top of your string. You don't have to do anything so challenging. All right, and then snip off the extras. And put the extras somewhere. And now finally comes the time to glue this piece down onto the card base. So the first thing I told you to do is actually the last thing that you need to do. If you follow the directions that I printed out, you'd figure that out. Whoops. All right, so we put this on. And we're going to put some dimensionals on the back of this guy. I'm going to put them so that they straddle the string. So that means none down the middle, they're all on the outside edge. And I like lots of dimensionals. I like to make them sure they're holding on. Last thing in the world that I want is my label to fall off while I'm making my card. I usually don't have trouble getting these things off, but a lot of people online seem to. All righty. So now, if your button's not in the right place, you're going to have to kind of bump underneath it a little bit. Righty. Okay. Card number 1. And look at what I did.
You did it upside. That's something I do.
Yeah, look at that. So I either have to move the outside or the inside. Oh my goodness. Robin. I think this will be the best move. We shall see. Oh,
Yeah, that was lucky.
yeah, I was real lucky. really really yucky, or it'll be really yucky or really lucky, one of the two. All right, so there we go. And I'm putting my thumb over this boo-boo down here. All right.
Looks good.
Okay, so that's card number 1. Wow. All right. Now, what did I do with the cut here? Card number 2 is this one here. Ooh,
Slouching.
okay. I have in there, and Ellen, this is where your 3 circles come in instead of the
Uh-huh.
piece of paper I sent. Okay, so you're going to get a
Yeah.
kit that's going to have 3 white circles, 3 green circles, and I think it's 3 trees. Yes, 3 trees. And then you're going to have, this is either gray granite or smoky slate, but this is actually a piece of paper from Hollows. It's got a little bit of a green olive kind of tint to it that I liked. And it's kind of a, oh, I don't know if that's going to show up on screen. Yeah, it does a little bit. See where it looks a little speckled in the paper is a little bit multicolored.
It's hard to see.
So it looks like stone. That's where I was going with that. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is, again, this is an I can't thank you enough. It's a plain thank you card, so we're just going to put a plain white piece of paper on the inside, or if you're going to stamp it with something, you can pick something out that's thank you-able to go with the front, or you can change it into any other kind of card you wish. And there's the inside, which is very vanilla. Okay. Then I took a piece of old olives that's 5 1/4 by 4, and I cut 3 of the large trees out with the dies. And they are included in your kit. So there's those babies. And they surprisingly, even as detailed as they are, they cut really well, except for that one little pokey there. Okay, got a hokey pokey. All right, I'm checking here. There is no strings on this one, so we can just glue this olive piece down.
You're gluing it down because it's the background.
Yeah, it's the bottom layer.
Okay.
All righty. And then you got to watch a little bit when you have something cut out of the middle. It makes it a little bit, wants to move the paper a little. So instead of laying flat when I put it down, it kind of warped a little. We'll give that as the excuse for me not getting it straight. Okay. That's better. Okay. All right, and then you have a piece of wood grain in there, hopefully. Well, not in this kit. Oh, yes, there is. So you can take a look at either side. I think I kind of like that one better. I don't know why, doesn't matter really. But you get to choose. The back side of the In Good Taste paper isn't wood like that, I don't think. I think there's a pattern on the back rather than another piece of wood grain. So this paper was from the, I think it was called Wood Textures paper. It was a 6x6 pack. And I was just kind of using that up. And this is just a tiny little border here. So just a little 1/8 inch border or 1/16 inch border all the way around. All right. The next thing you do is you just take your piece. Yeah. Oh,
Great.
your piece like this. And I forget, I think this measures 2 1/4 by 1, 2, 3, 4 1/4. 2 1/4 by 4 1/4. It's just gets attached. And then comes the trees. And I made this so there's a good 1/4 inch border on the right and the top. Okay. And then you're going to take these, and if you have your own dies and you want to cut your own, I would suggest putting some sticky paper on the back and making them into a sticker. Or use a little bit of glue on a sponge dauber. Have a dedicated sponge dauber just specifically for gluing the backs, but it works really well to put a little glue, a little puddle of glue on a block or on a corner of paper, and then just sponge daub the glue on. That will solve a zillion problems, but it does ruin the dauber for anything other than glue.
That's better than getting glue all over yourself.
Yeah. And fortunately, this is going to be behind most of the stuff is behind here. This one's going to kind of go up here. And it doesn't, much of it doesn't get seen at all. And then this one goes down on the bottom. You could also, if you have colored embossing powder, you could do the same kind of thing we did on the first card and emboss these trees right onto your subject here. Okay, so that's what's behind those 3 circles.
It's hard to see them.
All righty. Then we're going to take this little strip here. And we're going to stamp it with, I can't thank you enough. Come here.
Feels like homestead.
Feels like home.
Yeah.
Thank you. Feels like home. Okay, this is one you can earn for free with your $50 celebration purchase. All right. And so over here, mount this on here, and I stamped it with Mossy Meadow.
I think I have that one.
Mossy Meadow. And that's what color those trees are also. And the layer, background layer paper. And my sample card got is hiding. I kind of did this off to the left so that you have room for 3 black gems, which are also in your kit. Right, and that just gets laid across here like so. And just put that on. All right, the rest is all working with the other stamp and the mountains and coloring in, etc. Okay. I think I got that straight. Yep. All righty, so we have 3 white circles. And I was going to make you actually stamp 2 whole complete sets. And then I said, oh, why, when you can just move the stamp over and get the same effect. So this is the one that is going to get stamped in black. Yep. So you'll have to clean this off in the middle of each one, but you're going to have one that's got kind of, well, now that I made a mistake on the label, we'll put it this way. This part of the stamp. And then we're going to ink up the middle this time. And this part of the stamp down a little bit lower. Yep. And of course, the very last side of the stamp on the other side. Oop. And see. Okay, like so. All right, then you get to color these all in. Mossy Meadow for the grass. And remember that mask you made on the first card? Well, wherever I put it, there it is. We're going to use it again to stamp this tree on this one. And you just have to look for the right place to line it up. And this is one of the double trees in Mossy Meadow ink. I just had it there. I use it and throw it, and that's gets away from me. Oh, guess what I did? I squished. No squishy, squishy. Make this so the tree top sticks out over the mountain and below the mountain. I don't think I would have done it that way. But that's okay. And we're going to put another one in there just because. Put it right there. Yeah. Come on, guy. All right. Well, I'll fix it in there. This is all supposed to be brown down here. I put this mountain up too high. Let's see if I can redo that one. Put it up too high and too far to the left for what I wanted to do there. So we'll give that one another shot. That's more like it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And now we will cover it up. And you can leave just a little bit of the mountain showing, and then you won't get that white line. So. Wow. Cover the bottom of that up. There we go. That's better. And that's better. Okay. All right. That's enough of that because I don't seem to be able to get it right, but we'll deal with it. All right, then you have to go start coloring them in. The mountains I colored with from cake. Use the other side. This one came down here as well. This is the dark crumb cake, or use your blender pen and ink pad. I really like these markers. I love them. All right. This wasn't supposed to have a bird in it, but we're going to put one because I have a halo from my stamp up there. This time I'll try to stamp them upright. Try that. Yeah. Oh, well. Then we're going to take that mask again. Well, you really don't need the mask if you're a good colorer. Oh. And if you make this so that it's a little bit squiggly, it'll look more like clouds, believe it or not. Mossy Meadow. Fix up this tree here. And what I like I said, you can go over the top of our regular ink with these, and it does not smear. I have my phone on do not disturb, but my grandchild is persistent. Okay, so that is kind of like one, and then go the dark spots in the sky. All right, so that's one. Then you do the same thing on the second one. All right. I'm back. Let's see, we'll get the birds flying over. Oh, I almost did it again. Over there. And down here. I really like the brush end of these markers better than the fine tip end. I don't find the fine tip end all that fine tip actually. But I must have had a little bit of something on my fingers because I got a wonderful little fingerprint right there. So well, guess what? We're gonna have some more birds. We got more birds. Okay. And then the last one. The last one I took the tree line and stamped some mossy meadow trees. Oh, I gotta color that in first. All right, now the trees. And then I did them again. Right below them. So, and then I just took the mossy meadow marker and filled all of that in. All right, and I took the basic black marker and I made some trunks for these trees. I just put lines in them and just put like little stick figure branches coming out of them. So just so they looked a little bit more detailed. All right. And then of course, back to coloring that sky. That's a gigantic mess around here. Right. And you can cover it with this and use a sponge dauber, or you can color it with this and use your marker. First with the marker. My room is warm. It's 78 degrees in my room. Our basement is not air conditioned, but it's normally cool enough not to need it. Except of course when I want it to be cool. All righty, so there's our kind of 3 pictures. They get mounted on the 3 ovals. One, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, Illyria. Oh, that's jump rope, something like that. There's one. This one is the middle. And if I were making this for myself, I would not even mount this other one because it's a mess. I made a mess. All right, so then you take your card and some dimensionals, which I set over here. And we're just going to put a couple. Now the center photo does not get any dimensionals because you don't want it raised up any higher than it already is, you know. So this one up here, right, so that it, put it so that it touches the border top and bottom. And then I put the bottom one on. Likewise, it just goes into this border here and touches the outside edge over here. Okay, that's a little crooked. We'll straighten that one out a little bit. There, that's a little better. And then this one, you just put some glue on. You kind of figure out where it's gonna wind up here. So you put some liquid glue, or you can just use your seal.
It's kind of floating.
Yeah. Okay. So that one, you could put maybe, let's put 1 dimensional right in the middle, just to hold it up. I don't want a saggy bottom.
None of us do, honey.
There we go. Okay. And that's
number 2.
yeah, you do put your little black gems over here, and then then you're finished.
Mm.
Lots of detail.
Yeah.
They are manly, though.
It
They
looks
are.
like to me that I put this one on the bottom and it should have been on the top because the majority of this, see how the other one is? Because I'm covering up the tree.
No.
So put your one with the tree in the background up here.
Okay.
But, you know, it doesn't look bad. It's just not, oh, it's one of those things that I would be really picky about. Oh, boy, do I have a mess over here.
Well, personally, I'm thinking of suing because you didn't put those down right.
Okay, well, you want me to take it apart and fix it?
No.
Okay,
I'm
because I
intrigued by
will.
this next card here.
Aha, yeah.
Number 3.
Yeah.
I do like these fun fold things.
All right. Well, the hard part's done for you, the folding. There is going to be a pattern in your kit for cutting this out. Right here. All right. That was provided by loveandstamps.com. She is a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I literally copied, and so that is why I left her name on here. She gets the credit as to how to cut this. You do have to have a kind of a cutter like the Stampin' Up! Trimmer that you can cut this slit in the middle of a piece of cardstock because it's specifically in a certain position. All right. So you would need
Oh, it doesn't cut all the way.
something like this because it stops. Yeah, it doesn't go all the way through. I'll try to show you here.
Mm.
Come on, come on, come on. All right. So here's your piece
Oh
of
my
card
goodness.
stuff. And you would do the center cut by aligning this at 2 3/4, which is there, and then cutting from
One something.
yeah, well, she has it backwards. It needs to be 6 1/8 is down here on the ruler. No, I'm sorry. It's 1 1/4 from the bottom. So the let's turn it over and then I won't have a problem. That's probably where the problem came in the first place. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So 2 3/4 starts at 6 1/8 to 1 1/4. So you'd be down here at 6 1/8, and then you cut up to the 1 1/4 mark up there. Okay, so that's the only way to get that cut midstream is to have that kind of cutter, or mark it very carefully with scissors, and then you'll have to fold it and snip it, and then
Could maybe use a
Cut the-
rotary cutter too. I have like.
yeah, well, you know, rotary cutter goes too far sometimes, and that's why this one is taped in the back. I'm using it for my sample cards because I had to make sure I got
Mark it,
yours.
couldn't you mark it with like a piece of like paint tape and take it off? Where, you know, like where you tape it
Yeah,
where-
that would be helpful probably. Okay, so when you fold it, the left side just it gets folded in half. The next one is the large step in the back gets folded. Then it's every other one. So 1, 2 is down, 3 is up, 4 is down, and 5 is up.
Oh my,
Okay, and then it sits like this.
oh, that's so cool.
All right, kind of looks like
Uh-huh.
that. All right, so when you're all done, it looks like this. Ooh. No. So when it's
You
closed,
felt it a little bit, Robin?
when it's closed, it looks
There
like
you go.
this. When it's
Okay.
open, you're able to read that whole sentiment there. The pictures that I sent you are easier to show, but it, you know, it looks like that on the side. Okay. So here we go. You have your background here. And you have your kit over yonder somewhere. I do with card number? Yep. Card number 3. All right, and that's full of pieces, parts. Already kind of done for you. Let's dump them all out. All righty. You're gonna have some plaid pieces. They're gonna fit here. And the other piece bumps into it and fits here. And I think I have found a way to match the plaid. No, they don't exactly match up, but you're going to have that tree over the top of that area anyway. So that one just bumps right up into the other one. So let me stick those down. That just gets centered in that area. This is the piece that goes on the lowest part on the bottom. Just bumps right into it. Okay. So that'd be your first layer. Then we're going to stamp a detailed mountain range over here, and that's the non-flat side of this first stamp. Okay, and we're going to I'm not going to use balmy blue. I'm going to use it. You'll have to correct to make this note on your paper that you're going to use Seaside spray ink rather than balmy blue. And if you don't have Seaside spray, then use balmy blue for the mountains. But Seaside spray actually works better.
Seaside spray. Is that an old color?
I'm sorry. It is a retired in color from just this past year.
So it was Seaside, what was it?
Seaside spray.
Spray.
All right. So we have one here. And then you clean this off and turn your stamp over. Now, if you're using scissors to cut this next piece out, it's a whole lot easier. But there is a method to do it with the MISTI. You'd have to cut out a stencil. Cut out a stencil like this. This matches this one. Oh my goodness, that sounded like somebody was screaming.
Sorry about that.
Okay, so this is the first one that's going to get cut out. Now, if you take this and turn it over, then you're going to be able to stamp in here like this and cut the back side out of this. You're going to put the piece that you cut out in there. You know what I'm saying? In your MISTI, you'll put the piece that you cut out, and then you're going to stamp right on that piece. Otherwise, you can trim it out with scissors, and this is not that difficult of a one. I think you probably could do with scissors just as easily. Okay. So just to show you how easy that is with scissors, because I don't want to get out the big shot and the dies right now, we're going to kind of cut out. And this is also good if you don't want to buy the dies and you still have the stamp set. The only thing is the trees are a little bit more fussy to cut out with scissors than the mountains are. So you just leave a little bit of color next to them, just like the die would. I'm probably leaving a little more than is necessary, but I'm trying to do it fast. So all right, and then this down here can just get snipped off like so. All right, same thing with this other piece. Feel like I'm in cutting out for my elementary kids again. I worked in a preschool for about 3 years. Wow. All right, so there's our 2 mountain pieces. And then just like on the other cards, we also have a scene to stamp. This time I took the, and if you had this all lined up, you could do this in one step. You could have stamped this one and then stamped off the stamped off image on the other one. You know what I mean? Because it's already inky and I wiped it off instead of using the stamped image again. Now I used that plain side of the stamp. Oh, where's my ink? Where did I throw the seaside spray? There we go. And I'm just gonna stamp up half of it, stamp off half of it, and then stamp on over here. Let's put it right about there. Okay. And then you're gonna take your, need to have a wet wipe with you, a lot for this card. A lot of cleaning off of the stamps. And where did you, oh, there you are. Okay, and this one is also the flat side of the stamp on this first run. And it is done in garden green. And it is stamped off onto something. Just find something. And then stamped on. And then it's cleaned off and turned over. A lot of that. Sorry. It's a different kind of stamp. And then this is the real trees here. I mean, the detailed trees. Okay. And then I colored the ground in underneath that with the crumb cake. And then there is a cloud in the kit. In the stamp set, you stamp, more, making this one look more like the desert than an ocean. I guess if you wanted to make it water, you could. All right. And then you stamp the cloud on this piece, which I have to find the cloud. Cloudy day, where are you? There you are. And I stamped that with this seaside spray as well. On the white.
Phew.
Okay. Right. And that you cut out. And let's see what else we have here. We have a little ticket. That was in the Many Messages Stamps and Dies. And I liked the shape of the ticket. So if you want to use it, I think I put one of these in your kit that you can use to stick it in your stamping positioner. Otherwise, you can just, you know. I wonder, where did that stamp set come? Where did that stamp come from? Oh, that came from. That came from. Why didn't I put down where that came from? Because I corrected some of these and I didn't correct this one. Does it say on yours, page 5, anywhere what stamp set that was?
I didn't get that kit yet.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that would be hard, wouldn't it? Well, I will look it up and make sure you get it. I want to have to take the time to try to find it, but you stamp it on there and that's what's going to go in that step here. Okay, then you also have one of these pieces and you're going to stamp twice the detailed greenery. If you do it right and only stamp one, you could just cut it in half. It might work. But I'm going to stamp 2 just in case. And there's a die to cut those out with in the stamp set or in the die set. And then with the same garden green, you're going to stamp 1 double tree and 1 single tree. Single tree goes on actually on the larger piece. I don't know why I gave you a larger piece, but I did. So if you have a place where there's a gap and you want to make another tree, that's fine. And then the double tree sounds like the name of a hotel. Double tree. It's stamped here. Now, Sorry, ladies, I would normally do this the right way. I normally would have these already cut out. I don't know why I didn't. Too much going on. Okay, so there's the one tree. And here's the double tree. Okay. Look much nicer if they were cut out with the die, but trying to rush. All right, so this one we're just going to cut right down the center. And we're going to cut out our clouds. For the next card class, I will make sure that I get these cut out with the dies so you can maybe see, if you watch the other class, you can see a little bit better how they go. All right. And this is, I'm sorry, this is nowhere near what they should look like. So I'm just trying to give you the idea so that you know what to do. All right, I think we have enough to assemble the card now. What did I do with my starter? There it is here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is take a piece of this gizmo and we're going to find out where the edge is and trim that even with the edge, and then find out where the other edge is and trim that even with that edge. And then you're going to put a little bit of Tombow glue, or if you have no, sorry, not yet. Hang on to that piece. It's complicated. So this one here is the first cloud set. And we're going to cut it off even here and then stretch it across to here. Okay, so this one gets glued with liquid glue or with tape runner to the top edge of this top step.
Uh-huh.
All right. And then of course you want to make that nice and neat. Cut it off square. All righty. And then that piece that I told you to hold on to, it goes behind it with dimensionals. Right on the bottom.
Depth there.
A
little depth.
Yeah, a little bit. Okay. And now I'm going to show you. You want to make sure the card will lay flat when you put it in the envelope. or when you stand it up that it doesn't get caught on something. So when you put this piece on back here, put it just above that fold. Don't put it over it, otherwise the card won't open right. Okay, so you just put it like that. And of course, Robin was in a hurry and she did not pay attention to where her dimensionals were. Maybe it would be easier for you to put the dimensionals on this back piece first, I think maybe. But down low. Wow, I'm getting lucky because you normally can't peel them off either. All right.
So if you put them on the back of the layer that's glued on and then pop them against it, that might be easier.
Yeah, I think so. But you should be watching where the height is, you know, just so long as they don't show from that in front of that front layer. Ah, come on, I got a piece of paper stuck to it. There we go. All right, so now we're going to try again. All right. And there's your dimension in the back. And this would be nice if it were rounded a little bit there instead of so pointy in the air.
Interesting.
All righty. Next step, we're going to just take this. So we're on, where are we? We're still on that same step. We're going to take some dimensionals on the back of this leftover piece that you cut off of this side. We're going to move it over here.
Gotta make sure it's not on the fold too.
No, this, yeah, well, yeah. It's not going to be because we're not going up that high.
Down.
Yeah.
You have 3 layers of mountains?
I have 4 on that first. The fourth layer is the trees.
Yeah. 3 mountains though.
Yes, 3 mountains.
Wow.
Okay. So this one goes over here. And you don't want to go any further than the card will close on. So you kind of want to go there. Okay. And then this last piece of this, which you cut out, is going to go under there after I trim it off to make it fit.
So nothing gets wasted.
No,
You know how those little pop-up back pieces that you peel off go everywhere?
Yes.
And you're always finding them different
Yes.
places? In the photo of this card,
There's one stuck, yeah. Spoiler alert.
It's funny
Yeah, they
that you
just turn
say
up
that
everywhere.
because on this table of mine, I just found two.
I just was
I thought I
editing
had
that
it cleaned
picture and
off.
I go, oh my goodness, I'm not going to do this all over again because I have to put a watermark on every one of mine. And
oh, I don't blame you.
just,
It's just funny because I always have them stuck all over me and everywhere else.
okay, now this piece could have been put on first and then we wouldn't have this issue of having to jam it under there, but it goes underneath that other one. All right,
It'll
so there's
fit.
your mountain range.
Lots of dimensionals in there.
Yep, and then the next one is your trees.
All in that same pocket.
Yes, now the trees do not get popped up
Oh.
on this one. They just get glued flat to the mountains, the lower mountain range. But they go down into that, that step as far as you can get them and still have them look good. So this covers, okay? Are you able to see all of this? I'm hoping I'm in frame and everything. All right, so this kind of is going to go down here like that. So that everything on that step is covered.
Okay.
All right, and then your next piece is going to go on the next step.
Does it go behind it? Or-
Goes in
on
front
top
of the next step. And you can cut this so that it goes all the way down to the bottom, but I didn't. So I'm going to add a piece. See, here's where I was
Okay.
talking about it may not fit all the way across, depending on how you cut it,
Oh,
right here.
right, right, right.
So I would take the other one.
Oh, can you pause?
And make sure it goes all the way across.
Go ahead the other room and I can always leave if I have.
All right.
Sorry about that. My son just came in.
Well, my husband's been in and out of here a couple times, and so has my dog.
Haven't heard them.
No.
All right.
I
Remember
think
your,
it's our bank calling because we're going to try and refinance.
oh boy.
Yeah, old boy is right. So if I have to go, I'll let you know.
All right. You can always finish watching the recording.
Right.
All right. So then this piece is going to go on this step. You're going to cut off any excess. And I also want to take and cover that bottom up. Yeah. This doesn't go down in there far enough. You want to make it look like the second line of trees. So you want to get it down in there just so that the tree tops. This one wasn't up. This one wasn't up high enough. This is just going to look just fine.
You could trim the other one smaller, right?
Yeah,
And then it wouldn't show.
yeah, or you could actually put this one in here like this. Oh no, there's. All right, we'll go with that. Okay, so that's how we are so far. Then the label that you stamp with the sentiment on it, and whichever, what did I do with that? It gets put right on the inside of this step here.
That one, I know you showed it to us because
Here it
was a
is.
piece.
Here it is. I will look up that stamp set and make sure that's printed on this, but it goes right here. This one gets popped up over here. The happy birthday up here. I believe those are still from the many messages stamp set. I think that's where they come from. So you're going to put your banner. We're all pretended this is the right banner. We're going to put your happy birthday banner up here. And then your cloud over here. Okay.
Don't forget the cloud.
No. And you're going to take your piece of twine, or that's the short one. There's a short one and a long one. Hopefully. Long one. Okay. So you're going to wrap that around and glue it to the back side here with a tape runner. Something sticky.
What is the message that, you said happy birthday, and what does the other one say?
One says, wishing you a year of magical moments and wonderful memories.
Oh yeah, it's on many messages.
Many messages. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that just goes across like that. This is hidden on the inside of the card that nobody looks at. And after you have your banner with your happy birthday and your wonderful memories all in there, then you're going to take this tree is going to get popped up over the seam where the papers meet.
Ah,
And this one gets popped up over to the right here. And the short piece gets tied in a knot around here. It's a half knot. And then stamp whatever you like for, or leave it blank. I plan to leave it blank for a place to sign the card. And that goes on the back side, like so.
yeah, that's nice.
Nice.
Very
Alrighty,
interesting
so-
fold to that. I like it.
There you go.
Oh, wow. That does look nice.
And what I was saying about the trees, if you use the full piece that I have given you, you can make that piece of paper go all the way down into the fold and just sit there real nice. And then this one here, you can see where I extended it down here. So can you see that? Where I put a tiny piece in to make it look like it was down in the fold. This one's all the way down. The darker piece of green is all the way down in here to the edge of the fold. And then this one here only came down to here, so I put a piece in there. It doesn't show, so you wouldn't need to put a piece in, but that's what I did. And this just gets glued across the top of the already popped up circle, the cloud.
So the circle is dimensional.
Yeah, dimensional, 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 flat, 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 and then the rest is all dimensional.
Huh.
Quite a
All right.
card.
Yeah, we haven't done a big deal kind of card like that in a while. I don't think. All righty. And the last card, fairly simple. She says with tongue in cheek. Just card number 4.
Calling number 4.
Calling number 4.
What are you calling it?
I'm calling it Nested Labels Mountains. I don't know what I called it on the directions, but that sounds like a good.
Mountain air in embossed forest with stitched nested labels.
Okay, there we go. So, yeah, this piece of white has been embossed with the evergreen embossing folder. These pieces, it's white here. It's been cut out with both of these pieces, white and crumb cake, have been cut out with the stitched nested labels dies. And then this one's cut out with the triple banner punch. And this one is cut out with the dies from the Majestic Dies from the set. And it says happy birthday to you on the outside. It says wishing you your best year yet on the inside. And that is from the stamp set called Best Year. Okay. All right, so your kit is already going to have an embossed forest. And you can look at this whichever way you want. I liked the flatter side up as my forest rather than, this is debossed, this is embossed. So that's just the way I liked it. And then you got a piece of crumb cake, a piece of white already cut for you. This is to stamp the tree on for the front of the card. And this is to stamp, my inky fingers are getting ink all over everything. This is to stamp the happy birthday on the front, and then you put it in the triple label punch, or just make flags on it yourself with your scissors. All right, so I hear a kitty.
Yeah, we have two of them. We have a black one, and then we have a gray one. And they're the black one is about 19 or 20 years old, and the gray one isn't too far behind.
Aw. Okay, so the first thing you'll do is stamp your, look at, see, I got green everywhere. You're gonna stamp your inside sentiment on a card that is unadulterated. This one, I got both sides. Oh my goodness, I can't even salvage that one. All right, so it's going to say, have your best year yet, or is that what I said? Wishing you your best year yet, and I stamped it in Pretty Peacock. That's the color of the bluish green that's on this card. And then you'll take and put down your embossed piece, your forest. And you may want to use Tombow glue when you're gluing down an embossed piece. They don't like to stick very well. They do stick very well when you use liquid glue rather than tape runner, because the tape runner makes it lay on top of the embossing instead of getting down in there. All right, so we're just going to put that piece on there like that. I'm going to take this white piece and we're going to find our mountains again. You know, when I give up, that's when I'm going to find it.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll tell you what I'll do. I will go through the motions of showing you what I did, and then I will find that stamp and stamp the rest of the video for you and add that, you know, add that portion on the end, because I'm absolutely amazed that it's not just jumping out somewhere right at me. Here's all the inks. Nothing.
You have the trees. You have the trees, right, Robin?
Yeah, I have the trees. There's
Well,
the
then
trees.
let's just pretend the mountains in the background
Yeah.
and go along and do the trees. Because I have a sample here in front of me, and you know, just pretend that you stamp the mountains there, and then go along with the trees, right? I don't know.
Yeah, what else can we do? I mean, that's about it. I'm
So
sure you know.
you're using the bigger part of the mountain stamp,
Right.
right?
What?
I said you're using the bigger part of the mountain stamp, and it's only crumb cake. You don't, like, that's the white
Right.
card showing through.
Right. And okay, if this were the mountains instead of the trees, it would get stamped up here like this in crumb
Right.
cake.
Right?
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Then the next thing down, I wonder if I could find my example card,
Or some
Yes.
trees, right?
is trees, and they just
They're in a dark green.
they're in the same Pretty Peacock. It's all the same. It's all two colors, crumb cake and Pretty Peacock. That's and the black for the birds. That's all there is there.
Okay, so
Okay. So,
are you stamping full strength and then second
Yeah.
stamping?
yeah. So
Okay.
here is, okay, there's our mountains. Just pretend they're there. They're about that high up. and they're crumb cake. And then we get one full strength one right square in the middle. And then go to the right without restamping.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very
And
pretty.
then stamp full strength all the way to the right. And off stamp to the left of the middle.
Uh-huh.
And then full strength one more time back here. Okay. And
Then you go to the smaller tree.
nope, no smaller trees at all.
Okay, never mind.
Did you color in below down to the point or daub it or something?
It's already colored in down to the point.
The blue,
From
you're
the stamp, it's
Oh,
from
I
the
see.
stamp
Okay.
hanging
The
over.
tree part covers that. Okay.
got it.
All right.
Then
And you need a die of the two trees together, right?
yes. So you would stamp this on your white paper. On your white scrap. And if you wanted to conserve paper, you could turn it this way. And do one for another card. Okay, and then you cut that out with the die. Well, it hasn't turned up yet. I have no clue.
No, it would be just as pretty a card without the mountain, actually. It's just that the crumb cake color is in that middle of that too. So you could actually put the other mountain behind that. You know, even though they're not as peaky, but you could put.
Yeah, if you have the, well, if you have the waterfront card kit, stamp set from a couple years ago, it's the one we made the Mountains in the Mist special card out of.
Oh,
It had mountains on it. Okay, so then, you know, this is better die cut than robin cut. All right, so then this gets mounted on top of this, just flat. Oh, take your mountains are in there. Take your sponge dauber and sponge the sky right up to
Yeah.
the edge
And
of
then
the
put your
mountain.
birds
So
in.
put your mask on it again. Save that mask that you cut from the very first card. You know, put your mask on here again.
just daub it.
Sponge daub your sky. Stamp the birds over the mountains. Then these two get just put on here flat.
Okay.
And then I have the string wrapped around here 4 times.
Wow.
And oh boy, I'm all flustered now. I cannot get anything straight. I can't. I've smudged.
Now you know how I feel.
Look at that.
You'll be-
Where did
it-
that come
We get the
from?
idea. You
Oh,
know, it's just the one stamp. We can see the rest of how it works.
the ink is not drying very well here either. Okay, so then you wrap this around the outside 4 times. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and meet them in the back and tape them down. And then you take this piece that's left and fold it in half. And so you have 2 strands going around in a knot here.
Gotcha.
And that gets popped up on the front of the card right there. Then you take your happy birthday tag, stamp it on there. That happy birthday to you is also from best year. This is where I'm getting ink. I gotta get rid of this silicone sheet. It's just causing me all kinds of problems. I never get this inky online. Oh. Okay, so let's see what I'm best year is. Best year took off and flew somewhere to. Oh boy. Oh, here it is. So right on here. With pretty peacock on top. I'll let you guys all know where I found that stamp when I eventually find it.
I'm gonna find it as soon as this class is over.
I know. It's weird how that works.
That's exactly how it works in my world.
Okay. So there's the happy birthday to you. And you just cut. Oh. Cut a little flag tails on both sides. This is not a real steep one, so I just go that way and that way. Robin, come on. I have a feeling my blood pressure medication needs I need another one right now. Oh, golly. Oh.
I like this card. I think it's pretty.
Yeah, and it's fairly
You could do
fairly
some different
simple.
things in
You have
that
all the
It's less
center too.
complex, but it's really nice.
yeah. Okay, there it is. And then
Does that get popped up, Robin, or just glued down?
because the tree next to it is popped up, the label is popped up, and you got that twine in there. I thought there was enough dimension for this just to be glued flat to the tree, which is already popped up. So it's just glued on there flat to the tree and flat across the label, but it still sticks up because everything's popped up.
So you could put a pop-up on the right side if you wanted to.
Yeah, so it doesn't hang over, but if you have it glued right here, from here to here, it's not going to need it. I don't have any pop-ups under this, but this would have, oh, jeez. Something just fell on the floor. I don't know. It's crazy.
You're sitting on it, I'm telling you. You're
Crazy
sitting on it.
day. That's one of the world's most ugly cards I've made in a while. Look at that. I smudged it terribly. I don't think the ink was dry when I turned it over to put stuff on it. All right. Well, that's card number 4.
Pretty.
And when I find the rest of it, I'll let you know.
Well, I had this sample in front of me while you were making it, and it's nice. You know, it's easy to see what you did.
Yeah, it's not
Is there
hard.
something on the inside of that one, or is it just?
Yeah, it was the wishing you your best year yet, from the same stamp set as the
Yeah.
best year.
All right.
But
This
this
is not-
That's a nice.
sentiment and this inside are the same, from the same stamp set.
Gotcha. Nice.
All right. Yeah, I'll let you guys know tomorrow what the heck.
It's there somewhere.
It's there. You didn't go
The
anywhere.
only thing I can think of is that it happened when the block fell. I just found it.
It's on the floor, right?
Yeah, but it went under the desk.
Oh,
There it is.
Because it's
popped
bouncy.
off the block.
It popped off the block when I dropped the block.
Yeah. You
But I
don't
never
know
would
about
have
these
thought to
things, you know?
look that far under. I mean, we're talking way under there.
Huh.
Well, I'm glad you found it.
Mhm.
Yeah, so am I. Now I could finish the card, right?
Let's see you do it again.
If I had the pieces, I would. I've got to cut some more pieces because I've destroyed these pieces. Ugh.
We
It's
get to
always
see where
during the
you made
first-
your mistakes and hopefully can not do those ourselves, but I wouldn't count it for
Yeah, yeah, and you can always watch the second card class because the second card class is always figured out where the
glitches are.
where the problems were.
Well, that's cool. All right.
All right, I'm going to stop the recording because I don't think we need that anymore. So that is that.